Welcome to the third level mastery training for Artful Coaching. As the title of the training suggests, it's about you gaining the mastery to be artful in the way you are coaching. This is the final level of the transformative coaching training program, and this is the most exciting part of the training in which we complete the entire phase of learning for you to be able to truly create a deep and sustainable change for your client. In level 1 training, we support our students or our coaches to be able to shift their mindset from a bridging, solutioning, a resolving mindset to one that is more of a learning mindset, which is really the foundation, the fundamental skill, of this transformative shift framework. And then as you proceed on with the second level training, we support our students and coaches to be able to consider the who and the what aspect of the who aspect of the client and the what aspect of the situation. That's where we begin to look what is it that is behind that will allow us to have a much more deeper and richer conversations with our client. And certainly when you come to the third level, it's about you being able to recognize and observe what is being presented by your client in the moment, and then to consider all the markers that you have learned in the level 2, and then you become more choiceful about how do you want to go about to draw out from your client. This is where we go beyond learning the techniques or what's the right questions to being able to tune in and make sense of what you are listening to when the clients share their story to you. The third level training is more than just learning the theory. It's about the training environment. It's about this whole entire 7 to 8 months of learning together through the various phases of activities that allows you to build that competency, which is basically the muscles. Okay, so let me manage your expectation as you are listening to this presentation. It's more than just what's the classroom learning, what's the topic that we're covering. It's really about us interacting, talking through, discussing, going back to the university days where we do projects together. Okay. So that's what makes the uni days so exciting. And then at the end of the day, when we complete our training or when you complete your degree program, you left the campus becoming a much more better person, not because of the knowledge. Yes, the knowledge is important, but it's the process of going through this journey that makes this third level training the most valuable piece in the entire transformative training coaching program. And I encourage you to take some time to preview the recorded sessions of our graduation celebrations and hear the story of our graduates who have completed the training. None of them talks about the markers or what are the specific theories that they learn. Well, trust me, we will be talking in depth. Lots more theories and concepts and principles. We'll be going through countless numbers of case study. Those are just a mean to which we use to help you to become the coach. So that's why I'm excited about this third level training. Well, right now I'm going to walk you through how the programs are put together so that you have an idea of what this journey is going to be like. The training structure is almost similar to that of the advanced level training, except that there is just one activity that is not in the advanced training, and that's the practical. So, as usual, we have the learning lab in which we examine the expectation of the marker at MCC level. Well, the markers are basically the same. It is the expectation of how you need to demonstrate that is not the same. So I will be walking you through objectively what ICF is expecting at the MCC skill set, and what one of the most invaluable piece of this training program is that you will walk away having an understanding, a knowledge, or an expectation of what is required for you to submit your tool recording when you felt that the time is right for you to apply for your MCC credential. You will have access to one of my live work, which is a compilation of the expectation and or what is required to demonstrate an MCC skill set. In addition to that, you will be able to have access to easily, I mean, minimum, okay, 12 recording that is approved by ICF at MCC skill set. That's a very invaluable resources. Uh-huh. And in addition to that, you will be able to have access to some of the live coaching demonstration done by me during the CPD for you to listen it again. So these are the resources that helps you to gain an in-depth understanding of the core competency at MCC skill set. Then the practical lab is a case study approach in which we take a look at recorded sessions and review it, and help you to map the theory or the expectations with the actual case itself. Okay. Again, we will have peer-to-peer coaching support, and the same as in the advanced training is a platform in which you receive feedback and a platform for you to figure out what is it that you don't understand yet during the learning lab or the practical lab. Well, be ready for another period of confusion, just as how you had experienced that in the advanced training. Well, the good news is that the existing batch of students who have graduated who have just recently graduated has agreed to come in to support you guys during this peer-to-peer coaching support. So have fun during this period of time. And then we have the practicum, which I'm going to talk about that later on. The philosophy of having the practicum is that I firmly believe that it helps you to solidify what is it that you already know. In the peer-to-peer coaching support, you figure out what is it that you do not know. In the practicum, you figure out what is it that you already know that you do not know that you actually know them. Okay, and it's based on a very simple understanding that you learn much more when you're able to contribute or share your knowledge with another, with someone else. And finally, we will enter into the final stage of coaching supervision. And the only difference between the coaching supervision and practical lab is that in the coaching supervision, we will be reviewing live recording, whereas in the practical lab, it is a recorded sessions. Again, the objective is to be able to map the theory. The only difference is it's a live versus a recorded sessions. With that in mind, I would like to walk you through the training schedule, which is a little bit different from the brochure that was earlier on presented to you. Well, the changes arises because of this sudden change in our advanced training, that was the result of the online training format that we put in place during this interesting period of time. Okay, so I've adjusted the program a little bit to kind of like make sure that we still have the same learning environment as before. Okay, so we're going to start off the third level training this time with the practicum first. Okay, interestingly, or I mean, fortunately, we have the advanced level students going to their practical lab to learn about the marker. So the students in the advanced training will be learning about the marker, and this first phase of practicum will have you joining this group of students during the practical lab to support them during the breakout sessions to help them to understand the markers. And what I think I would like to achieve with this first phase of practicum for you during the third level training is to refresh your understanding or your learning of the PCC marker, which is a little bit different from the previous batch of the third level students because they go straight directly from the advanced training and into the third level training with no gap in between. Well, unfortunately for most of you who is going into the third level this year, there is a gap between June to October or November. And I thought, well, might as well use this period of time, this practicum, to refresh back your understanding of the PCC marker. And after that finish, that's where we will enter into our learning lab, where you formally start the learning of the mastery level with the MCC skill set. It will be in the month of December, and again, the idea is to intensify the learning so that it gets grounded. Okay, so in the month of December, I attempt to cover all six key competency in the entire month, with two practical lab in which we have kind of like demonstrations or someone practicing and using that to kind of like help to map the theory with the behavior. That's basically what's happening in the month of December, and I thought it's a perfect timing with COVID around. Well, I'm sure at least I'm not planning for any long vacation to another countries or out of town, so I thought this is a good opportunity to, you know, complete this learning lab and then allow us to rest in the end of the month, end of December and beginning of January, before we resume back the learning. We will resume back the learning in January with the practical lab, in which we will be reviewing the case study of recorded sessions to help you understand how the MCC markers are being demonstrated. That what happens in the month of January, and with this deep understanding of the expected demonstration, you will then move on to the second phase. Apologize for the typo error on the screen. You will the second phase of the practicum is different from the first phase, mainly because at this second phase, the advanced students will be doing their coaching supervisions. And this time round, instead of you helping them to understand, you will be helping them to demonstrate the marker by being able to kind of correctly point to them, this is what we hear and this is how it needs to be demonstrated or not demonstrated. So it's two different phases of learning for you as a student's mentor, learning to share your knowledge with the advanced students. Phase 1 is where they are learning the marker, and phase 2 is about demonstrating the marker. So with the practical lab put in place in the month of January, you will have added advantage of a deeper knowledge. Coupled with your experience that you had went through in the advanced training, you will be adequately ready to support the students to demonstrate the marker. So that's the second phase that happening in the month of February to March. As I mentioned earlier on as I mentioned in the virtual house, you do not You do not need to take on the full responsibility for the learning of the students in the advanced training, mainly because we have our faculty team assigned to be responsible to lead the sessions. You are coming in as a secondary support to for the faculty staff that is leading the sessions. Okay, hope that takes the pressure off from you. With that in mind, that's most probably will finish in the month of March, and that's where you will enter into your own peer-to-peer coaching sessions. With all the learning completed right now, it's time for you to test it out to see how much of it is showing up right now in the way you are coaching. So that's where we allocate the month of April for you to um, look at how are you integrating all the learning and demonstrate it at MCC level. And with that in mind, after when we complete that in the month of May and June, that's where we're going to the last phase of the learning with the coaching supervision, where we take a look at how much is being assimilated during this period of time. The duration of the coaching supervision is tentative at this point of time because it really depends on the exact numbers of students that is onboarding this program. So with this is complete my presentation on what is expected for the mastery training. The mastery training by far to me is the most important part of the training. Of course, the advanced training is equally important, but in the advanced training, we will be building a much more closer a relationship together over this entire 7 to 8 months of journey. So I'm all eager to share with you all the knowledge and experience that I have, and hopefully you can take all that and integrate that into your own style and emerge as a masterful coach that is of service to your clients to bring deep transformations for your clients in your coaching conversations. So with that in mind, I'm looking forward to see you in this final phase of the learning. Thank you.